So we are finally back again with another transfer video with the setup, with everything. It has been quite a while, but I decided now, look, let's try and do some transfer videos while the transfer window is finally now back open. The January transfer window, the time where Arsenal can make some improvements to their squad. Because look, we probably have to, with the situation of those two players, including another striker, including Eddie Nketiah, throwing Balogun. We could need a striker, and also the midfield situation. We also have Thomas Partey and Mohamed El-Neni going out on AFCON duty, so it is very likely we will need a midfielder as well. So I think those are the two target positions this season, a striker and a midfielder. Now, who do we go for? I want to talk about first the positions of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Alex Lacazette. Now, these two have been our main strikers at the club for the last 4 or 5 years or whatnot. Firstly, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang looks like he has been ostracised completely from the Arsenal setup after being stripped of the captaincy. Maybe there's something else that's gone on behind closed doors, and because he was late and this and that or the other, something's definitely gone wrong in the background. But it looks like he's not going to be an Arsenal player no more. I think it looks like he is going to be shipped off at the moment. With Alex Lacazette, the situation is 6 months left on his deal. So it does look like he probably will be leaving, or there's talks of a 1-year extension as well. With Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, he's been let to go on Gabon international duty early to go to AFCON. He's been allowed to do that, which means he's not going to be involved for at least mid-February, because I think that's when they come back, integrate back into the side after a tiny little break. So I think mid-February is when all the AFCON players are going to come back. So that's Partey, El-Neni, Pepe and Aubameyang. Pepe hasn't been playing that much, so maybe it's not as big a deal because Martinelli and Saka have been doing so well. But the thing is, if one of those get injured, then we're in a bit of trouble, especially Saka, because we have Smith Rowe and Martinelli to cover that left side. But midfield's where we need to definitely try and improve, because at the moment there's talk of Ainsley Maitland-Niles going out on loan to Roma, which will only leave us with two midfield options, which is Sambi Lokonga and Xhaka. We will definitely need another midfielder, so I won't be surprised if we do loan a midfielder. Arteta did come out and say not long ago that we'll be looking at loan options in the window. He definitely suggested that there will be activity in this transfer window, and I won't be surprised. But the first bit of thing on Aubameyang is that Newcastle have been linked with him. Now, I'm not surprised. Newcastle do need a striker. They have inconsistency scoring. Callum Wilson, I think he's injured or he has corona, I'm not too sure. But Joe Linton, again, he's been good, but again, not consistent enough. They are looking for a consistent goal scorer, and Aubameyang could be the one. Juventus are also interested with could be the impending departure of Alvaro Morata, which means they would want and would be in the market for a striker, and Aubameyang would be a very good option, being one of the most clinical in the last few years, obviously. So Juventus might show an interest as well. But I think, look, even Barcelona need a striker, so they could be interested. So there's a few clubs there that could potentially want Aubameyang. But I think the one sticking point at the moment, which I think would make me feel that he would probably go to Newcastle, is the wages, because I think out of those three clubs, Juventus could afford it, but they've got a massive wage bill. They're trying to trim that down. They've got a few issues at the moment. Same with Barcelona. They can't afford Aubameyang's wages at the moment. Newcastle looks like the only one that potentially could. We could maybe subside his wages for the loan deal. I'm not too sure. But I'd rather sell him from, even if it's a nominal fee, even if it's 15-20 million for Aubameyang, I'll take that, because he's on nearly 400 grand a week, so we get that all off the wage bill plus the 20 million. It's not the end of the world. But I think now for me as well, it's times that Arsenal's over. It's just not worked out whatsoever, and it's best if we just part ways now, to be honest. Another Arsenal captain has fallen down the cliff. It's happened again. But yeah, with Lacazette, I'm not too sure what's going to happen. There's not much news flying around about that one. Eddie Nketiah, he has been linked to a few clubs in the Championship, as well as in the Premier League, as well as abroad. At the moment, what the news is that Eddie Nketiah is reluctant to sign a new deal at Arsenal. But look, that situation could change very much in the near future. He is getting many opportunities at Arsenal. He did score a hat-trick against Sunderland. He'll probably have a part to play in the Carabao Cup ties and the FA Cup ties, which are our next 3 games coming up against Liverpool and against Nottingham Forest. So again, we'll just have to see how that one turns out. But look, at the moment, situation is Aubameyang looks like he's set to leave. Lacazette, not too sure. Nketiah, not too sure. And the fact is, because of our inconsistencies in the striking area, means that we are linked to Dusan Vlahovic, who has been in absolutely blistering form this season. Dusan Vlahovic, he has, just checking his stats now, 16 goals in 19 games in Serie A, with 2 more goals in the Coppa Italia. So he's 18 goals in about 21 games, and he's been doing very, very well this season, Dusan Vlahovic, and he scored way more in the season before as well. So he is someone that has been in among very heavy interest all around Europe, not just Arsenal. Manchester United said to have an interest. Spurs are said to have an interest. I think Barcelona said to have an interest as well. There's many clubs around Europe that would want Dusan Vlahovic. Now look, at the moment, Fiorentina are rating him at £70 million for a club to come and sign him. I don't think we're going to spend that kind of money in the January transfer window on a striker, considering the outlay we had in the summer. So I would think this would be a transfer for the summer, because he is also reluctant to sign a new contract because his contract is up not this year, but I think is up next year. So this summer I think he'll probably leave when he's got 1 year left on his deal. So I think his price will be dragged down a tad bit. I think it would be dragged down to about 50 million, 60 million. I don't think it'd be dragged down too much because I think they might convince him to sign a contract. I'm not too sure. But this guy is definitely a player we could do with. Someone like him. He's a very clinical goal scorer. But again, I think that's the problem sometimes with strikers. They come from abroad, but you don't know how they're going to perform in the Premier League and how they're going to fit into a system, how they're going to adapt. It's all these different things you have to think about before spending that much money on such a young striker. He doesn't, his goals are brilliant, but it's not Haaland. You know what I mean? So that's something we have to keep in mind when we're thinking about someone like Dusan Vlahovic. I'll definitely sign him. I think he's better than the other options, which have been touted around. Someone like Ollie Watkins or Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I think this guy looks a bit more all-rounded and has more goals in him, because I don't think Watkins and Calvert-Lewin are all that, in my opinion. But look, some people may think otherwise. Maybe you want to get up that English quota. I'm not too sure. But look, at the moment, there's nothing serious on Dusan Vlahovic, but we definitely have an interest. And look, I don't think this is going to be one for this January, but definitely one for the summer. It would probably be one of my top priorities for this summer, if I'm being honest. Dusan Vlahovic, he looks like a very good striker with a lot of potential. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below about that one. The next one is Bruno Guimaraes. He is someone that we have been linked for a very, very long time. Him and Houssem Aouar, who we linked with for the last two summer transfer windows. Bruno Guimaraes, he came from some club in Brazil. I forgot the name. It might have been Fluminense or might have been Flamengo. I can't remember. But he came from Brazil to Lyon. I think that was 2 Januaries ago now. He went from Brazil to France. He looked like a very good midfielder at the time. We couldn't get him. He went to Lyon instead, and now he's been linked to Arsenal once again. He is someone that said to, Aulas, President Aulas, we all know who he is from negotiations with Lacazette and Aouar. Notoriously difficult to deal with. But it looks like he could be willing to sell Bruno Guimaraes at the moment. But for me, look, I think he's quite a good midfielder, and I think he would do a very good job for us. But personally, I think someone like Dennis Zakaria or Boubacar Kamara, other options who their contracts are both up this season, and they're, I think, better midfielders than him. And I think we could probably do better in the market more shrewdly if we get one of those two for a nominal fee, probably better players, and they'll probably do much better for us as well. So I think that would be the best call at the moment, instead of going all out on this guy. But look, he's a very good midfielder. Yes, Liga attacks, but let's see if he could adapt into the Premier League. But look, we definitely do need a midfielder. As I said earlier, we do have 2 midfielders leaving for AFCON for about a month and a half, so that's going to cost us. But let's just see how we roll with it. Let's see if we do make tweaks. Maybe Callum Chambers comes into DM, but again, that's just something we'll have to see. But I think with the DM role, there's no point leaving it late, like some sort of deadline day loan move. We have to do it quick. We have to be shrewd, and we have to do it quickly, because we need a midfielder now that someone could come in, slot in, and do the job. Even if it's a loan to the end of the season, that's probably what we need. Let's just hope we don't bring back Stani Ceballos. Next one, we've been linked to him once again. I swear I've talked about him at least 40 times every transfer window. But Felipe Coutinho linked once again to Arsenal. He's not someone I'd particularly be interested in this summer, because we definitely have cover now with Martin Odegaard and Emile Smith-Rowe. So I don't think we need him. I don't think he's a very good number 8 either. So does he really fit the bill? Probably not. Look, again with Coutinho, he's not really done much this season, has he, for Barcelona? I think Barcelona just want to get rid of him at this point. For any fee, I think he's rated at around 7.5 million. As a loan fee, I'm pretty sure they'll probably want more as a transfer fee. And I'm not sure if we should go after him, if I'm honest. He's pretty finished at the top level anyway. But look, we'll just have to see. I think if a good enough opportunity comes, it wouldn't be the worst thing to happen because he's still a very good footballer. Could play on the left, could potentially play on the right as well. But I don't think we need him. I think we needed a number 8 DM, number 6 to cover end of the season, maybe even beyond that to replace Granit Xhaka. And we also need a striker. So does Felipe Coutinho fit that bill? I'm not too sure, but it said that Barcelona do want to reply within 72 hours. I want a quick reply, I want a quick sale on Felipe Coutinho. So let's see if we move on that. I'm not too sure we will, but I wouldn't really keep a big eye on this one for this summer. But that is it for today's news. I'll come back maybe in a few days to talk about more. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.